Hello, everybody. I will be doing a deep dive breakdown of Hamilton's Never Satisfied. It is Angelica's song where she reveals her internal monologue. And so too, I will be revealing my internal monologue in relationship to how creative an INFJ can be with solutions for complicated problems, even at a young age. I hope you can bear with me today because I might switch between addressing you, my audience, and addressing my sister. Since her and I don't really talk, this is how I say goodbye. I know that there are many contradictions in my story. There are no clear lines that have not been crossed. And people may not understand how narcissists kill with intention and from the shadows. For example, not only did I get the lap band because of my parents, but after my appendix got removed, I was still healing from that when I found out about that abomination I discussed in my intro video. And then I fell into this crippling, debilitating depression for months. All the while, my sister and my mom knew what was wrong with my stomach, and nobody told me anything. And finally, I find out you knew this whole time. Not just about the hole in my stomach, but about her lies. You were in on it? Damn, sis, you cut deep. You think I don't have a right to be mad? Just like you and her destroyed my trip to Japan? You were wrong. But instead of respecting my right to have feelings, you did me just like them. You punished me for not kissing the ground you walk on. So you cut me off just like that, sending me and my daughter into poverty while we're all alone and I have to juggle extra hours at work and no babysitter, drop half my class load, all because you wanted peace with them? I never picked them over you. That's why they always used you to try and make me feel bad. But it never worked, to their dismay, because I've had nothing but love and pride for you. You're right, I'm not perfect. But the whole of what you did to me, I've never done to anybody. But I'm sorry, because I did something that hurt you, but I didn't mean to. One day in 6th grade, my mom had picked me up from school. She had been on a rampage for days, just complaining and complaining and complaining, since she couldn't hit me anymore. And I couldn't help it. I am INFJ. All I want is to solve your problems. It was raining that day. I remember drawing mouthless faces on the foggy window. And finally, I had had enough. I turned to her and I said, do what makes you happy. If you want to go to him, then go to him. You don't need to care what other people think or what other people say. I am your daughter. You only need my permission. I was so dumb. I am so dumb. And I thought I was so smart. What I wanted to hear from her was, I don't need to leave to find happiness. My happiness is right here with you. I really thought that would help her feel better and look around and see at how lucky we are to be alive right now. But she left us, and everything fell on my sister. My father would send money along with his negativity. He was so mad my mother was dating a 20-something-year-old, and he took it out on my sister. He coerced her behavior, made her anorexic. I remember she would be fainting at school, on the freeway. One time she fainted in the shower and she ended up with huge bruises. And no one ever helped. She was not allowed to ask for help or to tell anybody that she couldn't do it. No one dare speak. Can you imagine the pressure? She was suffocating under that weight. I could almost hear her inner voice. I have to be perfect. I have to be perfect. I have to be perfect. He wanted to destroy her to get me. He wanted me back with him because I'm INFJ, and INFJ are like a drug to the narcissist because we are endless supply. And he had asked me to stay with him. But after Cecilia, which I mentioned in the child abuse video, I didn't want to. So this is what he did to her. She was so resilient. But I left before she could be destroyed. So when my father stopped by and offered to take me to Los Angeles for the last time, I said yes, because I just wanted her to be happy. And after that, he never released his grip on me and her. And we were separated forever. A few years ago, when my mother was attacking me because I had picked my father over her, she said, and I quote, "If it wasn't for you, Mikey would never have been born." She's right about that, because I'm the one that gave her permission to go with Mikey's dad, my younger brother. Just because I wanted some peace. But I never meant for any of it to happen like that. That's why it's complicated. That's why I always give my sister a pass. Because I never told anybody. I felt responsible. And I was scared. So for today's video, I've prepared an emotional breakdown of Hamilton's Never Satisfied. I will dissect verse by verse and translate it to what it meant to me. This was the first song I cried to of this show. Why? That's a great question. Let's explore that. When the song starts, Hamilton and Eliza have just gotten married, and Angelica is called to give a toast. At my sister's wedding, I was her maid of honor, and I was supposed to give a toast. Well, I did, but her mother-in-law laughed really loudly, and it threw me off from what I had prepared to say. And so I ran, figuratively speaking. Maybe this can make up for that. It starts with a toast to the groom and to the bride from your sister, who is always on your side. When it said, "the hope that you provide," I thought when I was younger that when she became a doctor, we would have made it together. In the song, Angelica reveals her secret crush on Hamilton. But the night that I regret is the night I said that to my mother, and she left. I remember that you and her one time were giggling like best friends, talking about some soldier boys. Not at all being told to be careful. No one to guide you. They would advise you and put you in danger. I remember studying by candlelight with you. Angelica goes on to describe Hamilton as having a hunger pang frame like you. And after all this time, have they ever really accepted you? You strike me as a woman who has never been satisfied. I always felt I could match wits with you, or pain. There's always something, an unspoken understanding we had that I can't share with anyone else. And on many nights that we were alone, there was some problem at the house and you looked so strong on the outside, but on the inside, you were helpless. And I realized 3 fundamental truths at the exact same time. Without our Father's money, we would not make it. He used that to lord it over you and control you. And it was always unfair. I did feel like you felt pressured to marry, but I think it was partially so that you could stop being controlled by our Father. And you're the oldest, I'm the wittiest, and the whole family on all sides would all gossip around about you because you dated a guy that was penniless. I had to be naive to set aside what I already knew about our Father, that he was never satisfied, to go back with him. I know my sister like I know my own mind. You will never find anyone as trusting or as kind. She would say she was fine, but she was lying. She was silently resigned to take over the household. But when I fantasize at night, I romanticize what might have been if I could have kept your eyes in my life. To the groom, to the bride, for my sister that was always by my side, to your union, to the hope. But he will never be satisfied. Save yourself. And so in closing, I remember that night, I just might regret that night for the rest of my days. I remember those soldier boys tripping over themselves to win your praise. I remember the dream like candlelight, like a dream that you can't quite place. But Alexander, I'll never forget the first time I saw your face. I have never been the same, intelligent eyes in a hunger pang frame. And when you said hi, I forgot my dang name. Set my heart aflame, every part aflame. This is not a game. You strike me as a woman who has never been satisfied. I'm sure you don't know what you mean. I'm sure you don't know what I mean. I forget myself. You're like me. I'm never satisfied. Is that right? I've never been satisfied. My name is Angelica Schuyler, Alexander Hamilton. Where's your family from? Unimportant, there's a million things I haven't done. But just you wait, just you wait. So this is what it feels like to match wits with someone at your level. What the hell is the catch? It's the feeling, the freedom of seeing the light. It's Ben Franklin with the key and the kite. You see it, right? The conversation lasted 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. Everything we said in total agreement. It's a bit of a posture and it's a bit of a dance. It's a bit of a dream and it's a bit of a stance. I asked about his family. Did you see his answer? His hands started fidgeting. He looked askance. He's penniless. He's flying by the seat of his pants. Handsome boy, does he know it? Peach fuzz and he can't even grow it. I want to take him far away from this place. Then I turn and see my sister's face, and she is helpless. And I know she is helpless, and her eyes are just helpless. And I realize 3 fundamental truths at the exact same time. Where are you taking me? I'm about to change your life. Then by all means, lead the way. Number 1. I am a girl in a world in which my only job is to marry rich. My father has no son, so I'm the one who has to social climb for one. Cause I'm the oldest and the wittiest, and the gossip in New York City is insidious, and Alexander is penniless. Ha, that doesn't mean you want him any less. Elizabeth Schuyler, it's a pleasure to meet you. Schuyler, my sister. Number 2. He's after me 'cause I'm a Schuyler's sister. That elevates his status. I'd have to be naive to set that aside. Maybe that is why I introduced him to Eliza. Now that's his bride. Nice going, Angelica, he was right. You will never be satisfied. Thank you for all your service. Number 3. I know my sister like I know my own mind. You will never find anyone as trusting or as kind. If I tell her that I love him, she'd be silently resigned. He'd be mine. She would say I'm fine. She was lying. But when I fantasize at night, it's Alexander's eyes. As I romanticize what might have been if I hadn't sized him up so quickly. At least my dear Eliza's his wife. At least I keep his eyes in my life. To the groom. To the bride. For my sister, who was always by my side, to your union and the hope that you provide, may you always be satisfied. And I know she'll be happy as his bride. And I know he will never be satisfied. She will never be satisfied. Goodbye.